heard you are afraid to talk on camera, or when you do talk on camera, you don't like what you see. I have been there, and I realized that I was self-sabotaging in 5 different ways. The 5 ways I'm going to show you today. I'm going to show you how to stop self-sabotaging and what to do instead so that you get really comfortable talking to the camera. Also, this is day 13 of the YouTube challenge that I am making myself go through right now. And part of the reason I'm doing this is so that I will actually sound more natural on camera. Even though I've been on YouTube for a few years and my background is in television, I found myself sounding like a version of myself I didn't like, which we're going to address that in just a bit. But if you would like to follow along with this YouTube challenge, I have it in a playlist, and it's going to give you lessons on how you can grow your channel and record yourself on camera. The first way that you are self-sabotaging yourself and making this whole on-camera experience scary is you are making yourself uncomfortable from the get-go. You're wearing clothes that you're not comfortable in, or you are in a location that you're not comfortable in, and you are thinking to yourself that you have to be a certain way, when what we really want on YouTube is to be how we are in real life. So that's why I'm sitting in my car. Being in your car is something that you do all the time. So when you put yourself in a common situation like being in your car, making coffee in your kitchen, you're automatically going to be more relaxed because you're used to doing that. However, if you do what I did when I first started creating videos for social media, you will do the exact opposite. I literally got dressed up in dresses, got all dolled up, and I sat in my living room, like on my coffee table, which I would never do. And I made it uncomfortable from the get-go because I was trying to create some kind of atmosphere that I thought I was supposed to be creating, and it made it worse. Also, you need to experiment with whether you feel comfortable standing up, sitting down, or walking. Maybe you'll feel comfortable in all 3 ways, but you might find that you're more comfortable in one way over another. The second way that you're self-sabotaging is you are telling yourself you are talking to the camera to a big audience. And you don't want to tell yourself you're talking to an audience. You want to tell yourself that you're talking with one person. When we talk to an audience, we get into presenter mode, which is what I'm trying to break. When we talk with a person, we sound like we are talking to a friend. When you start to think of the camera as a friend that you're helping, you're going to start to relax because you're going to think of it as you just having a conversation. Maybe you're talking to yourself from a few years ago and you're giving that version of you advice. Or maybe you're talking to an ideal client if you own a business. Or maybe you're talking to a good friend. Picture that person and talk to them before you even get on camera so that you already have that mode. I know that when I record, a lot of times I have to do the first take a couple of times because I find myself yelling at the camera in weird presenter person mode, and I have to remind myself, nope, we're talking to one person. We're not having to talk to a huge audience right now. The next way you self-sabotage is the reason why you probably don't like what you see when you go back and watch yourself on camera. Let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, notice how I have framed myself in this shot. You can see my entire body is taking up the frame, and you can see my hands, and my head is towards the top of the camera. And there's a reason for all of that. See, a lot of times people, they record themselves in a very unflattering position. Not that it makes them look bad necessarily, it makes them look insecure. See, if you record yourself too close, looking down at the camera, looking up at the camera, or with what's called way too much headroom, you're going to look small, and it makes you look like you're not sure of yourself. So a simple way to fix that is to make sure that you don't have very much headroom at the top and that you are far away enough from the camera that we can see your hands. This is going to immediately make you look more confident and more personable. You also want to make sure you're looking right at the camera. Now, right now, I have my viewfinder out so I can see myself, but I've trained my eyes to look at the lens no matter what. It's really distracting when someone's always looking at themselves on the camera, viewfinder, or on the front of their phone if they're using their phone, and that immediately breaks away connection with the person watching you, and you don't want that. So one way to avoid that is not to flip your viewfinder out if you use a camera, or use the back camera on your phone, or you can put a post-it note on your phone so you can't see your face. The next way that you're self-sabotaging self-sabotaging yourself is you are too stiff on camera, which is why I took you inside the grocery store. See, I find when you challenge yourself to do everyday activities while you're recording yourself, you will be more like you are in real life. And you don't have to actually post these. When I first started, I challenged myself to do everyday activities around the house and record myself and talk to the phone like it was a friend. And it got me on camera a lot faster on social media than if I had not done that. And you also have to stop telling yourself that you are so boring, that everybody else has this figured out except for you. No one is born knowing how to talk naturally to the camera. All of us had to start bad to get better, and we all had to start afraid to get through the fear and actually get over it. So if you're feeling that way, you're totally normal. But what I want to encourage you to do is what I'm doing right now. And I've been in television and in video half my life. And that is, this is a learning process and a forever journey. And we're always learning how to get better. I also find that this might be the most effective therapy I've ever gone through. There's a lot of self-discovery when you get on camera, because for the first time you are looking at yourself more than you ever have before. But don't hate that person that you see. You need to embrace that person, and you need to encourage that person, but you also need to praise that person, celebrate when they have done these scary things, because you started this channel to make an impact, and you won't be able to do that if you don't get over your fear of not being yourself on camera. You can be yourself on camera. You just have to be intentional about it, and you have to practice a lot, which is what I'm doing. We all have layers and layers of personality. It's like peeling back an onion, and it's real easy for us to get on camera and just be one layer. But if we really want to be ourselves, we have to start playing around with all the layers of our personality. So that is why I am trying to not be weird presenter person on here and be the person I would be if you were sitting in my car. And that's what you want to do too, is just be the person you would be with your friend. And if you would like to know how I get my camera angles, what kind of equipment I use, I'm going to put it in this video right here when it's ready.